a line that we can graph in the coordinate plane. But this linear equation has been changed to an inequality. So technically, we have a lot of coordinates that satisfy this inequality. Okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to color in which coordinates work and which coordinates don't. Now, was this a very efficient way to figure it out? No, this was kind of a pain in the butt. Some of you are complaining, okay? But what we know is either one side of the line is going to be colored in or the other. So if we can graph a line and figure out which side to color in, we'll be good to go. Okay, I would like you, as best you can, to erase those. And I am going to give you something that I would like you to use for notes. Okay?
I got a sweat.
No, what towel?
But he was me, he didn't know that. So he would take a towel and he'd wrap it up and like wet me with it. So bad. What the heck am I listening to?
Okay, could you fold it like a book so that this is the front?
Actually, no,
Imagine how white it is. Listen, stand it there.
Stretch it over like
you see my brother. My brother is.
no big deal.
You have powder to just go.
No. Take one of those, fold it like a book.
A book.
A book.
I like books.
I also like. I also like.
I have 42 books from one book series. So
You
that's
so
just
read these books.
Okay,
I'm the one who cursed out.
now
I'm winning the race.
I need us to focus. Okay. Now, we are going to graph linear inequalities. Okay? Now, do you remember when we graphed inequalities on the number line? We either had an open circle or a closed circle? Yes. Okay. Now, we are going to be graphing a line and then shading one side or the other instead of a dot and shading one side or the other. So there's no like open circle, closed circle, but instead it's either a solid line or a dashed or dotted line. Okay? So if we have an inequality that on the number line we would put an open circle, okay? Then what we're going to do is our line, we're going to make it dashed or dotted. Because it's not really included, but we got to draw it so we know where to shade. But if it is included, if we would in one variable make a colored in circle, then we're going to draw our line normal. Okay? So,
you can also tell where the slope is gonna go with the arrow like.
Yep. So what we're going to do, and you're exactly right, Joey. What we're going to do is we are going to graph these and then figure out where to shade. Okay? Now, the inequality is basically telling us graph the line and shade one side. Because what are we shading? I can't remember.
The side.
Yes, but why? What are we shading? What are we coloring in?
We're coloring in. No,
What did we color in?
we colored in the ones that work.
All the coordinates that work. Okay? That's what we're doing. So, oh no, where'd it go? Okay. So, I want to graph a line. So, I'm going to just rewrite this as 2x minus 4y equals negative 8. I don't want to do any algebra with the inequality sign because there is a greater chance for mistakes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change it to an equal sign so we can graph the equation. Now, if I'm going to graph a line, we sort of kind of need this in slope-intercept form. So to do that, what do we need to do first? Okay, we need to subtract 2x. Okay, so we have negative 4y equals negative 2x minus 8. Now what do we do? Okay, now we need to divide by negative 4. Okay. So that y equals, okay, let's think about this. Negative 4 is being divided into both of these terms. What is negative 2 divided by negative 4? So we have 1/2 x, 2/4, which we're going to reduce to 1/2. Negative 8 divided by negative 4. Plus 2. All right. So, right here, this is what we need to graph, okay? Well, what does that mean? That means we have a slope of 1/2 and a y-intercept of? Okay. Now, before I start to graph this, are we going to have a broken or a solid line?
We're going to have a solid.
We are going to have a solid line because we need to include all of those numbers. Since this is less than or equal to, we have our solid line. Okay, so we can do this. We have a y-intercept of 2, a slope of up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And if you want to be really crazy, down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2. Okay. Eva's got it. Don't you, Eva? Okay. Now, what separates this from what we did in chapters 3 and 4 is that now there's an inequality there. Okay? And we know that an inequality means there is a lot of solutions and we need to color them in. Okay? What's nice about these linear inequalities with two variables, we either color one side of the line or the other. Okay? So this is what I want you to do. I want you to pick a point not on the line. What is a nice point not on the line? I mean, technically, yes. Okay.
-5, 5.
Take that point.
5, -5.
You're negative
5, -5.
You know what?
5, -5.
I'm going to pick 0, 0.
Dang it.
Chance that
Not 0, 0, but not 2, 2.
always gonna change.
There is a chance of either one. So, if I go to my original inequality, 2 times x minus 4 times y less than or equal to -8. So, I have a question. Is 0 minus 0 less than or equal to -8?
No. 0 is
Is 0 less than or equal to -8?
No. So it's full.
Okay. Which means that we do not shade there. I want to shade ones that are true. So since my coordinate, and maybe you picked a different one. I picked 0, 0 because I didn't want to work that hard. Okay. But my coordinate doesn't work. So I have to shade on the other side.
So how does the shading work?
The shading is just like you lightly with your pencil coloring in, representing, hey, all of these coordinates satisfy my inequality.
No, I'm just saying, like, how are we supposed to know when you're supposed to shade in the top or the bottom?
Okay, so we are always going to pick a test point. Okay, I picked 0, 0. 0, 0 did not work, so I don't want to shade the side with 0, 0. 0, 0 is the best if it's not on your line. Yep, we go way back to the beginning. Okay. All right. Should we do another one? Probably. Open up. All right. So I have a question. What is something that's going to be different? We're going to do number 2, so we're going to do this one right here. What is something that's going to be different about this graph?
It's going to be.
Okay, the line is not going to be solid. Instead, we're going to make a dashed or a dotted line. Okay, so maybe we just like, okay, let's just remember that right off the top. Okay?
She took my phone out of my pocket.
Oh, well, crazy. So our line is x minus y equals 3. Okay. The first, I know that some of you can do like a lot of steps in your head, and that's really cool. But let's start by subtracting x. So we have negative y equals negative x plus 3. What would we have to do? Divide by negative 1. So the linear equation we're going to graph is y equals positive x minus 3. And doing it different way is just fine. Okay. Now, what's our slope?
It's going to be up 1 over 1.
Up 1 over 1, and now our y-intercept
0, negative.
is 0, negative 3. Now, when I go to graph this, 1, 2, 3, okay, I want to go up 1 over 1, right? But when I connect these, I want to do so with a dotted line. I can cheat because I have these tools in here. But honestly, what I would do if I were you, I would do this. Like that. With my slope. See what I'm saying? Or you can draw the line and then erase bits and pieces of it.
I just put the.
I put dots in the middle of the boxes.
I put dots in the middle of the circles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a music note. It's like a bucket.
Okay. Do we have that graphed? Okay, let's pick a point.
0, 0.
Is 0, 0 an acceptable point to pick?
No.
Yes? Because it's not on the line. Okay? You could not pick 3, 0 because it's on the line. Let's pick 0, 0. So x minus y is greater than 3. Is that true?
No.
Again? Okay, well, 0, 0 does not work, which means we have to shade the other side of the line away from 0, 0.
So basically, if the line is on top, it works. If the line's on top of 0, 0, it works.
So we want to color the solution. So if it's a solution, we color towards the dot we try. If it's not a solution, we color away from the coordinate that we try.